Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching or listening to Fantasy Football Daily. Brett Whitefield, Scott Barrett. We have to address it. We have to address the situation. Listen, I know many people are mad at us. We need to talk about the Chicago Bears. Many people are mad at Brett, really, more than anything. And Brett is a slippery snake. He's hard to nail down with what exactly how are your opinions on the Bears? Do you think this team's not going to make the playoffs? Do you think this is not a top 5 offense? Because it definitely is going to be.
Wait, you just want me to hit like the Bears season outlook?
Sure. We could go player by player. I want to know. People on social media are very angry with you. They're saying very mean things about you. I want to know, what are your thoughts on the Bears? And then we could go one by one on select players, or where actually do you stand?
I've been getting hit with Bears mean tweets since February. And producer Trey, Motion Man, is putting some on the screen right now. Word on the street is you're missing some hair. Thank you. I had no idea. I had no idea. There's some other hilarious ones I'll let you guys read as we talk. But yeah, this all started because I've been just saying the truth about Caleb Williams. Like, there are some factual things about Caleb Williams that I've stated that have gotten me in trouble with Bears fans for whatever reason. And I know fandom is a hell of a drug. And I know that, I expect fans to defend their guy, right? But the hate and the vitriol that this has created has been unbelievable. And so, yeah, so some of these are just absolute bangers. I love them. For what it's worth, these don't bother me, so keep sending them my way. I lay in bed at night with my wife, and we just die laughing to some of these because they're legitimately funny.
Do not send me the equivalent of this. I am soft, so I can't handle that. But please, more mean tweets at Brett.
I've definitely gotten used to it with the Bears fans. It's a love-hate relationship. But so let's talk Caleb Williams. Let's talk Bears. Let's just do the whole thing. But for me with Caleb Williams, it started. Go ahead.
First, are the Bears going to make the playoffs this year?
No.
Are they going to have a top 5 offense in points per game?
Yeah, I think so. Probably. I think they might get there. Yeah.
Okay. Is Ben Johnson a top 3 play caller in the league?
Top 2.
Top 2. Is Colston Loveland already a top 5 tight end in the league?
Like in terms of just skill or fantasy?
Yeah, real football, not fantasy.
I don't think I could crown him that yet, but he's close. I would expect him to be at the end of the year.
Is Luther Burden an upgrade on DJ Moore?
Probably not. Not yet, at least.
Okay. Caleb Williams, is he not one of the top 5 most impressive quarterbacks in the league from a traits perspective?
That's probably true, yeah.
Okay. So how could you hate this team?
I
top
don't hate
5
this
tight
team.
end. You have a ridiculous talent, a traitsy quarterback, a brilliant offensive play caller.
Traitsy quarterback that doesn't actually play quarterback yet. Listen, Fantasy Points Data Suite has pretty much everything you need to see, but one of my evaluation points on Caleb coming out is the accuracy was severely lacking. And on top of that, he fundamentally refuses to run the offense the way it's designed to be run. And this got him in trouble a ton in college, especially his final year at USC. This got him in trouble a ton as a rookie. And it got him in trouble a ton last year in his first year with Ben Johnson, to the point where Ben Johnson was adamantly displeased with the pass game that was unfolding in front of our eyes during the regular season last year. He had multiple comments about the pass game being less than sufficient, and Caleb Williams is the engine of that. He didn't directly call out Caleb Williams for it, but he is the engine of that. Most of the critique Ben Johnson had with the pass game starts with the quarterback. But when you look at the catchable throw rate over the last 2 years, Caleb Williams is second to last in catchable ball rate.
From a clean pocket.
No, it's in general.
Oh, then both, yeah.
Yeah, the only quarterback that's been worse with a among 35 qualifiers in catchable ball rate was Cam Ward. But he's stuck between guys like Michael Penix and Russell Wilson and Cam Ward. Like, this is not good company. And then you think about the fact, like, we chart who's responsible for pressure at fantasy points data, and Caleb Williams is responsible for more pressure that he faces than any other quarterback in the league. Now, he did do a good job avoiding sacks last year. I would say that that's not going to be sticky or predictive considering the nature in which he plays. Like, he just plays a Matador-style quarterback where he's inviting pressure into his life. He has the highest average time to throw among all quarterbacks the last 2 seasons, over 3 seconds per dropback. And then he's gotten some turnover-worthy luck as well. Like, his turnover-worthy throw rate last year was 3%. He didn't throw, he didn't have a 3% interception rate. The untimely fumbles were bad, especially as a rookie. He's been crowned way too soon for me. And I don't understand the disconnect. I know he's made some really flashy, amazing plays at the end of games. I know he's put on the hero cape and willed his team to victory a couple times. The problem with some of that line of thinking, though, is like the hole they were in was strictly because of Caleb Williams. Strictly because, gosh, Scott, you had a stat last year that was just awesome. Like, on non-game script drives, Caleb Williams is like awful for the first half of the season. So, like, they come out like the first 10 plays, they're scripted.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is great, and then all of a sudden just nothing until the fourth quarter. Now, he definitely ironed that out somewhat in the second half of the season. And I think Caleb Williams is an ascending player. So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. I do think he's an ascending player. I do think he has the physical traits to be a truly great quarterback in the league, but he's not even close to that yet. Like, you look at the top guys in the league, whether it's, you want to call Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, or, think Tom Brady at the end of his career, Joe Burrow. It's like these guys just can fundamentally run the offense at such a high level. Like, one of my favorite stats for Pat Mahomes, for people that think Caleb is the next Pat Mahomes has had 4 seasons where he has had positive EPA on throws at the line of scrimmage or within 9 yards of the line of scrimmage. There's only 7 instances of that happening in NFL history, and Pat Mahomes is 4 of those. Freaking 4 of them. Like, you can't compare the two guys, and that's the comp where, like, the NFL is in this habit of we're just chasing the next Pat Mahomes, the next out-of-structure demon who can go win with his legs and extend plays and make stuff happen.
You talking about Jackson Dart?
Right.
The next Patrick Mahomes, out-of-structure demon?
You're just never going to find that guy. You're never going to find, like, because Pat Mahomes can do that, but he also can just run the offense at such an obscenely high level that he doesn't have to do that all the time. He can actually just, make the smart right throw on 95% of the snaps, and then I love this Liver King one. Sorry, the Liver King thinks Williams is back to you. That's great. I truly thought that was funny. So there's just, again, to completely sum up my thoughts, Caleb Williams is an ascending player with a fantastic play caller, but he's not there yet. Most fraudulent Madden cover in Madden history, probably. I'd have to ask Thomas Tipple about that, actually, But
Brett, he has the clutch gene. He makes plays that, like, maybe only 4 other quarterbacks in the league can make, if that. Like, only Stafford, Mahomes, Caleb were making, could make the plays that Caleb made.
Yeah, I'm sure. They're 1 or 2 plays a game at most. Go look at the play that ended the Bears season. He completely misread a coverage, completely misread a safety rotation, falsely identified it as a quarters look, and he completely botched the play and threw a pick to end their season. So, like, yeah, for every hero play, there is a bad play in there that ends drives. So actually, I wanted to look at, like, where his EPA is per dropback. Yeah, I mean, he's 25th in the NFL the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Is that amazing? Like, especially, what was he with just Ben Johnson? Let's look at that. 14th in the NFL last year with the best play caller in the NFL. And a lot of that is just, he takes so many freaking negative plays, man.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this, largely derive from, the conversations we've had is yes, Caleb Williams makes these insane wow plays that only a few other quarterbacks can make. It's really cool, but it's also overrated. These are rare events that matter statistically less than being a consistently accurate passer who avoids negative plays. The highlight reel throws stick in the back of the mind of the average fan, so much so that like it's being weighted as if it's equivalent to making 99 out of 100 easy completions, or it cancels out 3 turnover worthy throws plus 4 sacks. It just doesn't work like that. It's not even close. And that's why Brett and like real film evaluators and former coaches and anonymous scouts kind of all say the same thing, is that, he's kind of overrated. He kind of has really good rapport. He is kind of propped up by a great supporting cast. This is a fantasy show. From a fantasy perspective, I mean, to be fair, he's really priced at his ceiling. He's QB7 on Sleeper, he's QB7 on Yahoo. But like, yeah, what is he, like QB10 in my own rankings? Like he's a guy who runs. He's in a great offense. I think the Bears defense, if they're a little bad, and like I love Ben Johnson. Like Ben Johnson is talking about breaking the Denver Broncos record for most points per game this season. Like that's exactly what you want to hear. And this guy is a driven genius lunatic. Like he could actually get that done, even if his quarterback's not that great. But also like, devil's advocate argument is like, I was very negative on rookie season Caleb Williams. And it was not just the catchable throw rate, but it was also a historically bad pressure to sack. And I know they massively upgraded that offensive line in the offseason. That's typically a quarterback stat. And he went from worst in the league to average, slightly above average. And I know you were saying he was kind of inviting pressure himself and, fleeing from the pocket in instances where there wasn't pressure and doing things like that maybe the average fan isn't going to pick up on. I know you're big into like football IQ and, quick processing and hitting the open guy and whatnot. And I know Ben Johnson, by our data, is the best play caller in the league at scheming receivers open. And again, it was a good supporting cast. But hey, he did show us, at least in one way, he leveled up massively. And so maybe we could see that with elite coaching, with the right support system around him, he could level up again and finish above average in catchable throw rate and force you to wear a Caleb Williams jersey every day on this show, which was the bet we made.
It's just not going to happen.
How confident are you? Why are you this reeks of hubris?
Scott, we have this has been a thing since he was a freshman in college, the accurate throw stuff.
How could that be true when he was the best prospect since Andrew Luck?
Because I just explained it because he wasn't first one. He wasn't even close to the best prospect since Andrew Luck. But people are chasing Patrick Mahomes. It's what they want, some out of structure phenomenon. And
it's Jackson Dart.
Sure. I also just want
to
point out,
if they were chasing the next Patrick Mahomes, the conversations around Jackson Dart would be much different. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I also just want to point out, if you don't for whatever reason trust fantasy points data, like the charting component, there's a million metrics you can still use that are completely black and white, completely empirical, to show you that Caleb Williams is like middle of the pack or worse in literally every major efficiency metric, whether it was completion percentage over expectation, he's dramatically below average, whether it was success rate or adjusted yards per attempt or passer rating, EPA per, it doesn't matter. He's literally bottom 10 in everything. But you got those 5 plays in the back of your mind. So I don't know. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but he has not arrived yet. He needs to take a big step forward. By the way, the Bears defense is going to be horrendous this year. So that is something to talk about. But
yeah, the only quarterbacks worse by completion percentage over expectation last year: Aaron Rodgers, Michael Penix, Cam Ward, an injured Baker Mayfield, and C.J. Stroud. Yeah.
Oh, can I make one more point? So you talk about the hero throws. We chart those. He's actually below average in hero throw rate.
Oh, yeah.
Which is hilarious. Yeah. It's literally just that when he's done it, it's been in bright light moments. I just don't. Is there such thing as a clutch gene? There for sure is. Some players just have a knack for making that play in the big moment. I would argue, though, that over the totality of the NFL, that is not a sticky thing. That those hero throws in the big time moments is just not something you can count on to consistently happen year over year. So,
right,
got a long way to go.
So you have my word. No more negativity on the Bears for at least a month. You have my word.
At least a day or something. At least a day or something.
But you were the only one who caught flack. I caught flack as well, and I catch a ton of it. This is like my least popular take. People think I'm an idiot for saying I don't think Colston Loveland is a good pick at cost. And I get that we had, a soundbite from this show that was 45 seconds long that went out on Twitter, and very angry comments that I didn't reply to, because what could I say? It's, hey, this was like 30 seconds taken out of context from a 9-minute. Why don't you go listen to the 9-minute rant? And you're not going to do that. So I'll just address it here. It's like the dumbest thing in the world is me saying Colston Loveland's a bad pick at cost. And hearing that is like, Scott hates Colston Loveland. And it's like, no, that's the second order thinking. It's relative to cost. It's nuanced. So Colston Loveland, I think, is an insanely talented player. I think he's, it looked like he broke out in those final 4 games last year. He saw an uptick in usage, and he was the real focal point of the offense. He was putting up like Supra Trey McBride numbers, Supra Brock Bowers. He was like a alpha wide receiver 1, and he looked incredible. And this was a player I was really high on. I was pounding the table so hard for him before the draft that his mom followed me on Twitter, and I DM'd with his mom. I love Colston Loveland. I had a tweet saying like,
sounds like you love his mom.
I had a tweet saying he was like a top 3 tight end in the league already from an NFL perspective. And people were like, we're jumping the shark on Colston Loveland. This is so stupid. You're too high on it. And then I say from a fantasy perspective, I don't want to draft it. And like, I hate him now. It doesn't make sense. It's what's going on here is I'm telling you, he's kind of priced at a ceiling. He's the tight end 3 on every single format. And Trey McBride just broke records. Brock Bowers is the best tight end of all time. And so, he is kind of priced at a ceiling where none of the risk is factored in. Listen, I penned my self-proclaimed magnum opus, upside wins championships. It's upside wins championships. It's not downside is irrelevant. And there is real downside here. It is really the case that when Cole Kmet was healthy, it took 14 or so games.
That's the quote that got you in trouble, actually. You said 15. He did absolutely nothing for 15 weeks.
So with Cole Kmet healthy, it was, it took until week 14, week 15, whatever it was, for him to break out. But that's like a really you have a 4-game sample size of great, and then you have a 15, 14-week sample of nothing. And like people are like, oh, that doesn't matter at all. All that matters is the 4-game sample. At this price point, I'm telling you, you have to be 93% sure to 95% sure that he is exactly who he was in those final 4 weeks, and those first 15 weeks tell you absolutely nothing. Because it is true that he didn't do really anything of all with Cole Kmet healthy. He went nuclear in the Bengals game, but the Bengals had the worst defense against tight ends in multiple decades. Yeah, if not ever. Yeah, and it's also like those 4 games came with fluky, extreme negative game script. Like it was wild. Every single one of those games, the Bears trailed over 75% of the time. Like the entire rest of the season, there were only like 2 instances of that happening. And like that's the thing is whenever you have extreme negative game script like that, you're always going to score a ton of fantasy points. Like Hunter Henry averaged like 28 fantasy points per game when trailing 75+% of the time. And Trey McBride was like, 29. And so, like that's a real thing that like bolsters Caleb Williams, bolsters Luther Burden, bolsters Colston Loveland. If you're only looking at those final 4 games, that's Chris Wex. That's part of his hesitancy on the Bears. He's a lot lower on them. He's like, the math doesn't check out for Colston Loveland to be as high as he is, Luther Burden to be as high as he is. And so I'm somewhat, I can get that. I understand that. But the really, really big thing to me here, and again, why it's not, he hates Colston Loveland. No, it's because the burden of proof is massively on you. It's just like one of the biggest rookie mistakes in the game, Brett, is drafting a quarterback or a tight end in the first 4 rounds, right?
Yep.
And maybe Trey McBride you can make a case for because, hey, he just scored the second or third most fantasy points by a tight end ever. Brock Bowers, okay, similar art. And it's like this so priced up at a ceiling, but it's I'm telling you, if you take Colston Loveland, it's a fun pick. It's a sexy pick. He's an awesome player to root for. But you are going to like your team so much more had you not done that. Like if at the end of your draft, you took Colston Loveland, you're looking at it, you're like, if I just took a wide receiver there or took a running back there, and then I took Tucker Kraft or George Kittle late, you would like that team so much more. And so it's very much it's like having cotton candy for dessert, for dinner. You got to eat your vegetables. Upside wins championships, power law players or running backs and wide receivers. Those are the positions that really matter. Those are the positions that determine whether or not you win or lose your championship. Really driving the impact in terms of wins above replacements. It's generally a bad move taking a tight end that early who only has 4 good games in his career and, was just a part-time player for the vast swath of the season. I don't know.
No, I like it. I think that was good. Yeah. That was solid of you to get that off your chest. That's been eating away at you since we did that episode.
Yeah, but hey, I'm actually a big Luther Burden guy, even at cost.
Yeah,
I know Chris Wecht isn't, but or projections guy, but yeah, we debated him. Very in on Luther Burden. Again, it's like positional value. It just the wide receiver position matters a lot more in fantasy. He's cheaper than Colston Loveland, who, dude, again, Colston Loveland goes ahead of Zay Flowers on Yahoo, ahead of T. Higgins on ESPN. And I could just not get on board with that. But Luther Burden, a couple rounds cheaper. So, that is a Bears player I'm way in on. I also kind of like DeAndre Swift a little bit.
Where's Rome going, Scott?
Who cares where Rome's going? It's the Luther Burden show, baby.
I care where their wide receiver one's going. I think that's important to tell the audience.
What has Rome Odunze ever showed you to think he could be the wide receiver one over Luther Burden, who just had the best rookie yards per route run since OBJ?
On tape, he's been significantly better. And then Ben Johnson proceeded to run his offense through him when he was healthy for the first 8 games last year. So those 2 things I think are pretty significant. The offense has never been run through Luther Burden. Not one game. Actually, here's a fun stat on Luther Burden. He had more games with negative receiving yards last year than he did as a wide receiver 1 or 2 finish. That's hilarious. And this is your king? More games with negative receiving yards. You know how hard it is to do that than as a wide receiver 1 or 2. That is flipping unbelievable. Anyways, we just spent 25 minutes talking about the Bears. Can we move on?
Sure.
Okay. You wanted to talk Chris Olave. What's on your mind? This was your addition to the mailbag. It wasn't a subscriber or an avid listener of the show. It was you. You put Chris Olave here. What's up?
Yeah. So Jordyn Tyson suffered an injury that's going to extend into the season. Jeff Mueller, our injury expert, generally optimistic, is just like straight up blackpilling. Like, it's over, guys. It's so over. And so I was down on Chris Olave because I don't know. I saw a pathway for like Jordyn Tyson to actually be the PPR cheat code in this offense. Chris Olave still productive, but maybe not top 12 fantasy wide receiver production. And now you remove Jordyn Tyson from the equation, and it makes you, I gotta think twice on this.
Oh.
And so I feel like I don't have a great argument against it. So like I really want to hear yours. But to me, it's before last year, Chris Olave never really separated from Rashid Shaheed. Like on a per target or per route basis, Rashid either bested him or was just like slightly behind him. They were basically tied in
How big is the sample of them together on the field?
2 years. It's pretty big.
No, games wise, they both missed a ton of time in 2024. In fact, like when Kubiak was there, he had like his starting skill players, I think, in 4 games the whole season.
Well, to be fit, yeah. So it was, you could go 2022 to 2023 or 2022 to 2024. Either way, it still holds true. So even if you remove the Clint Kubiak season, it still holds, where it's basically tied in yards per route run. And so there's just that. But like Ryan Heath's counter argument is like, yeah, dude, Rashid Shaheed's awesome. We love Rashid Shaheed. What are you talking?
He's good and also not on the team anymore. So
right.
Yeah.
But then it's also it really felt like he fell into a dream landing spot. Tyler Shuck fell into a dream landing spot last year, where once Tyler Shuck took over, he was really they had the softest schedule in the league by far. And it wasn't just Rashid Shaheed got traded. It was also Devaughn Vele got hurt. And the last 3 games Devaughn Vele played, or like right up until that injury, he had more targets than Chris Olave. He had more yards than Chris Olave. And so this is sort of like the counter argument. There's more nuance here. I think Olave was a little banged up in one of those games. So there's a little new, but it's yeah, this is the downside. The upside argument's easy is, hey, just in games with Tyler Shuck last year, he averaged 8.9 targets per game, 18.8 fantasy points per game, easy top 12 numbers. But I don't know. So I want to hear your thoughts.
I don't
you
know.
need to be the film guy here. It's Tyler Shuck's awesome. The play caller's awesome, and Olave is awesome.
First of all, when you wake up every morning, do you like just go to your daily checklist, things I have to do, and then check off, I want the name Karens to come after me in full force?
The name Karens?
Yeah, because you said Devaughn Vele.
Oh, I know. Why do I do this?
Who is Devaughn Vele? Like there's going to be some name Karen in the YouTube comments saying the most basic thing you can do for human decency is to get a person's name right. It's like every day we have a new one with you. You know what I mean? So just
the rule is you have to have a season with more than 2 fantasy wins above replacement in order for me to pronounce your name correctly. So you got to earn it.
I think it's a completely awesome rule. All right, so here's the thing with Olave. I think this is one of my biggest disagreements with Chris. He's projecting him as the wide receiver 10 in fantasy points per game right now. He was a wide receiver 7 last year, and I think you could argue the ecosystem's even better. Year 2 of Kellen Moore, year 2 of Tyler Shuck. The offensive line is in a really good spot. They improved the run game a little bit with Travis Achan. I know he's not super sexy from a metric standpoint, but I do think he's better than what they got last year out of the backfield. So, and then you talk about the tape. Chris Olave is fantastic, dude. He truly is a fantastic receiver. One of the better route runners, route technicians in the league. His separation burst, getting out of his breaks is incredible as well. I'm a big Chris Olave guy. There's things he doesn't do well. He's not a good run after catch threat, not a guy I'd design screens to. I'd pin him on the boundary or as a vertical player out of the slot and just let him cook. And that's primarily what he's done, and he's fantastic. He's pretty good on pretty much any route into the boundary. He's really fantastic there. He's good on the vertical plane as well. I think, the track record with Kellen Moore and number 1 wide receivers is also really strong, where you're like, okay, I think this is repeatable. I think at worst, he's probably wide receiver 7 again this year. I'm drafting him ahead of like Drake London right now. I'm drafting him ahead of Rashid Rice right now. I think you get to Jefferson, that's when I really start to talk about it. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, and then Nico Collins, you know how I feel about Nico, and with Higgins gone, I'm all in on Nico. I take Nico ahead of Justin Jefferson right now too. So, but point being is like I think Olave is good. I think he's excellent, and I think Chris is under projection on him. Chris is right all the time though, so who knows? But yeah, I'm all in on Olave. You should be too, Scott. You should be too.
Okay, that's good to know.
All right, let's move on. If you were
hey, real quick, I for your Caleb Williams bet, here's what it should be.
Oh God.
Here's what it should be.
Okay.
Above average in catchable throw rate. He is, you have to wear a Caleb jersey every day for a month on the show. If he's top 12 in catchable throw rate, you also have to paint your nails for the show.
I'm not doing that.
Well, you're scared. Clearly you don't hold a lot of conviction.
I am scared to put myself in a situation where I have to paint my nails. I'm a grown adult. I'm 38 years old.
All right. Well, next question we have is from a super chatter, Harry Henry 47. What is a special factoid or tidbit from both of you guys? Interesting. Good question. Thanks for that, Harry.
I don't see this on the show sheet.
I'll go first. I can interesting factoid about me is I could actually bench press twice as much as Brett Whitefield.
Yeah.
What's your interesting fact? Brett can't read. Brett is illiterate. Isn't that crazy that he's...
What is happening right now?
I mean, he's a football X's and O's savant, but he can't read.
Scott, I don't even think you could bench your body weight. And I definitely can read.
Yeah. Well, then you bench half of my body weight. That's crazy.
You're so ridiculous. But for what it's worth, bench is not my best lift. If you want to get into that, get in the weeds on this.
What's your best lift?
And it's funny because I'm only 5'11", and I've got a short arm build. You know,
5'11" in high heels.
Trey, what is going on?
5'6".
Is Scott all of a sudden a Bears fan here? Like, what is happening? You want to talk about the gap in my teeth? Look at I'm balding over here. You want to see that too? Oh, my God, man. Yeah, I don't bench.
You should buy a wig. I think that'd be a good look for you.
You should buy a Merkin.
What is that?
Yeah,
you told me before.
Google it.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, bench not my strongest lift. I don't know. I've never really committed to being awesome at the bench. I don't enjoy it as much as I like squatting and deadlifting. So I pull a lot of weight. I mean, my bench isn't terrible. It's still 4 times your body weight probably, but it's not bad. Anyways, can we get to a real question now?
How many push-ups can you do?
Oh my God, I don't know. Oh, well over.
6?
You mean in one sitting without stopping?
5 or 6
push-ups, Scott? Over 100
in one go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do push-ups every day. Pull-ups I can do.
You're gonna have to drop and do. How about that's if Caleb Williams wins more than 4 games this year, you have to do 1,000 push-ups live on stream.
Do you see what Trey
on
the screen? All right.
Why?
We're a little
Why
off
is
the rails
this
here.
a word that you know?
You ever seen? There's a show on HBO. Gosh, what is it? It's a, like old kind of Wild West.
Deadwood, great show.
Deadwood, yes. It was referenced on Deadwood once. Anyways,
great show.
Another new question: if you were an NFL head coach or offensive coordinator, who would it be? Well, how did this make the show sheet, Scott? What are you doing here? This.
Yeah, so this is a great question. So I'm not Mike McDaniel. I'm not cringe enough to be Mike McDaniel. I'm too tall to be Sean McVay. I don't have the same.
Sean
Napoleon
McVay's
complex.
a short king. He's like 5'7".
Yeah, I said I'm too tall to be Sean McVay.
Oh, too tall. My bad.
I don't have the Napoleon complex thing going on that drives him to be great. I'm not competent enough to be Kyle Shanahan. I think Sean Payton. There's this legendary story of Sean Payton where he's just like this hilarious asshole. Like there's a million Sean Payton stories, but this one's the best one. Is at a preseason game, another coach like called him up and was like, "Hey, let's just take it easy. Let's we don't want our guys to get hurt. No play action, no motion, no stunts, no." And Sean Payton was apparently like, "No, fuck that. I'm not kissing your ring. No, I don't agree to that." And then he just calls all out blitz for the first 15 plays of the game, almost gets the opposing team starting quarterback killed, and then he wins the game, like this meaningless preseason game, 47-3.
Don't ever say preseason doesn't matter. Right there, Sean. It mattered to Sean Payton.
That mattered in that one. I just think that's so funny. He's also like one of the more underrated guys. So like, who would I want to be? that's like realistic is probably Sean Payton. But you're gonna say I'm what? I'm Matt Nagy. You're gonna say I'm
No, like Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor.
You come from a long lineage of really smart guys, but they just stop just shy of you, you know?
Well, I feel like I know who you are.
Probably.
Dan Campbell.
Of course. 100%.
Of course.
Dan Campbell's the best.
He's the man. He is so sick. He is so cool. You also both chug like 5 gallons of coffee.
Personality wise, that is the 1-to-1, right? Or most 1-to-1, I should say.
Well, Robert Saleh maybe a little bit.
Yeah, and I've spent some time with Rob in real life, so yeah, it's a good one. Big fan of his. Yeah, I could see that. Definitely more of a leader of men, you know, than like the nerdy X's and O's Ben Johnson type.
Yeah, if we're going off of bench press, you're perfectly Dan Campbell probably, and I'm perfectly Mike McDaniel.
Well, here's a good anecdote to support that. So for those that don't know, Dan, when guys mess up in practice, he makes them do burpees, and he does burpees with them. It's like, oh, if I make you do 15, I'm the coach. I'm going to lead. I'm going to drop and do. So I coach soccer. The same thing. Any consequence I give out to a player, I also do the consequence. If it's a lap, I run a lap. If it's push-ups, I do the push-ups. So I got that from Dan. It's a great leadership tactic. All right, let's move on. Who are you drafting redraft if you can take one? Casey Concepcion or Denzel Boston? Why is this even a question? You know my answer.
It's Casey Concepcion.
Yeah, he's got.
Am I pronouncing that right this time?
Well, you did, and you really emphasized the Sion.
Yeah.
Like Casey
You gotta roll your
Concepcion.
R's. That's the key.
Yeah.
To saying his name.
He's got Antonio Brown level upside. So
Antonio Brown level upside? Dude, I don't know that Justin Jefferson has Antonio Brown level upside.
He did once upon a time.
I just mean like AB is one of one. You
know,
have to explain what you mean by
some...
that comp. You're saying he could be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I think he probably could be. I'm not predicting him to be, but I mean, just kind of joking. It's a hyperbolic comp. But when I watch Casey Concepcion move, it reminded me of a young Antonio Brown as well. Like the way he plays way bigger than his size, fantastic route runner, insane with the ball in his hands. That was all AB. It's described AB.
Yeah, so that's also my answer. Certainly had the better analytics profile. And then Todd Monken, last year or the last 2 years with Zay Flowers was really just like an amazing setup for him where he was, no wide receiver was on the field more in heavy personnel, which is a cheat code for maximizing your targets per route run, yards per route run. Also designed targets, screens. It was just this great setup. And then you had Todd Monken say right after they drafted Casey that he reminded him of a bigger Zay Flowers. Yeah. And you're kind of hearing some of the beats talk about, a similar role where this is like an insanely screen heavy offense, which makes sense given how bad the quarterbacks are. And so that kind of mitigates the accuracy concerns we have with Shaheed or Deshaun Watson. I will say though, like, I don't know that there has been a bigger like practice hype darling this offseason than Denzel Boston.
Early in camp, that was true. KC's now stolen that. It's every day with KC. Yeah.
I do know KC's been coming on hot and strong.
Yeah.
It's also Jerry Jeudy, by the way, is like the beat writers are just flat out saying these rookies are so much better. So that's really encouraging. I really like KC. Here's a spoiler. FFPC Exodia. The price on Casey Concepcion is so low.
Really? Even with Theo doing all these drafts?
Bro, Theo and I just set the main event record for the highest KC has ever gone in a draft. And we felt good about it. He's like, well, he's going to go around before where we took him in September. So,
yeah. Scott, I love the Zay Flowers thing, by the way, because when I wrote up Zay, I talked about how he was the love child of Antonio Brown and Stephon Diggs from a play style standpoint. And then my good friend Cody Carpentier, who's a great draft analyst and evaluator, his actual comp for Zay Flowers. No, you can't. I promise you that. I can't bench more than Cody.
There are a lot of the NFL players who can't bench more than Cody.
That's very true. I'll take him in the deadlift by like several hundred pounds probably, but he can definitely bench more than me. Yeah, anyways, his comp for Zay Flowers was Antonio Brown, and then his comp for Casey Concepcion was Antonio Brown. So I love the dot connecting.
You know who hates that comp?
Who?
Antonio Brown.
For sure. For sure.
Well, I wanted to ask you about another rookie who I was very low on, but who looks very good in preseason.
Mike Washington.
And it comes on the heels of a video we dropped, a very unpopular video we just dropped.
Ooh.
That is critical of Ashton Jeanty.
I nailed it. I knew this.
How bullish should we be on Mike Washington? How worried should Ashton Jeanty dynasty owners be about Mike Washington?
I don't know. Define worried, like for dynasty, I think you're probably okay. I think he's still going to be a fantastic back in a much improved situation. I think he's still a really good, despite what the last video we published on the topic said, I believe Ashton Jeanty was a fantastic prospect.
Yeah.
So he was my RB1 in the class by a lot. Yeah. I think top 12 all time for me in like 11 years of doing this. So like I'm not low on Jeanty, but good players get on the field. And I do think what you're seeing is Mike Washington is a good player. So for redraft purposes, yeah, maybe it should temper your expectations a little bit because I do think there's enough there with Washington where at minimum, he's a change of pace guy for them. He's like, hey, let's keep some carries off of Jeanty and keep him fresh, and Washington can handle that burden at minimum. At worst, you're like, maybe this gets to a 65-35 thing, and that's a little scary for redraft, right? So dynasty-wise, though, he might not be what you held out for when you tanked in your league and drafted him with the 101 that year. He might not end up being that, but you can survive. He'll still be a good player for you. He'll still be a starter. And we're considering worst-case scenarios here. As far as redraft goes, though, he won't pay off a round 1 ADP, I don't think.
Yeah.
So... yeah, is that sufficient? Do you want more?
No, that's good. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, he's a good handcuff just because there's nothing else, and we're assuming 250 plus carries, like 50 plus targets for Ashton Jeanty, but yeah.
Washington looks great. My eval on him was like big, physical, explosive with underrated hands and pass probability. It's a pretty good combo. Like he's like Omarion Hampton light, except he was correctly drafted in the 4th round. Like that's where you should be drafting running backs, not in the 1st, right? So like, but as far as skill set goes, he's a little looser of an athlete than Hampton actually, but very linear in the way they play. You see a little bit more patience and vision with Washington actually, which surprised me because I didn't think that was a strong suit at Arkansas. So
his analytics profile was so bad. If I were a UFL team, I wouldn't have signed him.
Stop.
I like the analytics are only as good as the analytics we get. It was awful. But yeah, so the fact that you loved his tape matters more than
what was it like forced missed tackles or something? What was he so bad at that you raw counting stats?
No, it was literally everything. Yeah, it was like
I remember. Sorry, go ahead.
It was fit. It was. I mean, I think we did an episode on it for Film versus Analytics, but it was like first percentile. Oh yeah. So he spent 3 years at Buffalo where he averaged like 4.1 yards per carry. This is a MAC conference school where the competitions, then a Conference USA school, New Mexico State, where he was just like mid, and then Arkansas last year where 6.4 yards per, but it was like first percentile numbers or like below thresholds where there's like literally no one who's ever done anything.
Interesting. He shared a backfield at New Mexico State with an NFL running back.
Yeah, who was that running back?
I'm
the Penn State guy.
Why can't I remember? What the heck?
Seth McGowan?
Yes, Seth McGowan. Yeah. Who's going to win the Colts backup running back job? Sounds like.
You think so?
That's the word on the street. All right, can we do one more and get out of here? I have another show I have to do, unfortunately.
Sure.
Well, you pick one of these because I think they're all good questions.
What is the offense that you think is going to surprise people the most?
I think Jacksonville could put up top 3 numbers in just about every category.
So that's the easy answer. That would have been my answer.
Sorry, I don't. Okay.
right now Vegas has Jacksonville projected to be 16th in points per game.
Yeah.
Chris and I both have them top 6 easy.
Yeah.
And like that's what you saw in the second half last year. I know that was a soft strength of schedule that's gotten a lot tougher, but no, I feel really good that I'm right and Vegas is wrong. And like you should never feel. Well, I guess with props, kind of like this, maybe it's a little different, but yeah. Well, that's an answer. What about a spicier one?
A spicier one.
Could the Raiders be great with Fernando Mendoza?
Not this
Is
year.
it possible? Everyone thinks the Miami Dolphins are going to be the worst team, the worst offense in the league. They're going to be 1940s era levels of run heavy. Is there any chance, hey, maybe Malik Willis isn't worse than Justin Fields? Is it possible Aaron Rodgers still has something left in the tank a little bit?
I was going to say the Steelers.
Really?
Like if you want a deep dive, yeah, I think the Steelers could really impress some people.
How?
Well, they added a really good receiver in Michael Pittman Jr., very underrated player who was hurt most of last year. But this is like a multiple-time 140 target guy who's still in the prime of his career. And what that does by bringing him in is it makes everybody else better. It puts DK Metcalf in his correct role. It elevates Roman Wilson out of the slot or whoever's going to be playing slot for them. It elevates the tight end room. It elevates the run. So, like, I think that's a huge factor. The other factor is, like, their offensive line should be in better shape this year.
That's really what it comes like. So I love Michael Pittman. I agree with you. Like he's a way better fit for Aaron Rodgers, who can't take hits, wants to get the ball out quickly. That's not DK Metcalf, who's limited in lateral agility. Is more of a deep threat. It takes him more time for him to get open. Where Pittman could kind of win his route more quickly, which is and operate in the short to intermediate, which I think is what Aaron Rodgers wants. And you saw or I'll let you say it, but like Rodgers looked good throwing the ball. It's just everything else. And so if you could protect him and just allow him to throw the ball and to this good receiving core where guys can get open.
Yeah, for sure. And what we've seen from the Steelers and their team building approach is like they spent a lot on the offensive line in terms of draft capital. And that unit has been kind of growing together. They're moving Troy Fontanu to the left tackle spot to replace Broderick Jones, who might have a career-ending injury. And then everyone else is just progressively getting better. They bring in Spencer Anderson from Buffalo. That's wrong Anderson. Spencer Anderson they drafted, I think, in the 7th round a couple years ago. He's going to play right guard for them. And then they drafted Max Ianachor to play right tackle for them. And I just think their offensive line's in a really good spot. I love Rico Dowdle, too, as a mainstay in the backfield. You like Eli Heidenreich as a pass-catching guy. I just think overall, like, the situation's way better than people realize it is. If they can protect Rodgers, they have the pass catchers now to be decent. Also, this dude from Iowa, Caden Wetchen, he is explosive as heck, man. Like, he might win their slot receiver role, which would give them a totally new dynamic in that offense that I think they're missing. So, big fan of kind of what they're doing. And then defensively, they're going to be good enough, too, where it's like, I mean, they also drafted Jeremy Bernard in the 2nd round. So, like, I don't know. I think the Steelers as a whole might be better than people think. I think they might surprise some people. But offensively, for sure. All right. You want to get out of here?
Let's do it.
Cool. Guys, fantasypoints.com. Check it out. New website. Front office tools amazing. Scott's entire draft plan is on the site. You get his guide. You can get all of the individual articles breaking down each position. It's pretty fantastic stuff. I don't do a draft without it. We also have industry-leading projections from Chris Wecht. You combine Scott's draft guide with Chris's projections, you literally can't miss. It's a pretty excellent way to attack your fantasy drafts. Be sure to check that out. And thank you for listening. We are